is it so hot? Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Where'd that train go, man? False advertising.
It's supposed to be in here by now. And vanilla or Ice Cube, too. It's supposed to be rapping.
Stupid Ice Cube.
Stupid Coors Light.
Hey, it says on the side of the can, when the mountains turn blue, it's as cold as the Rockies.
That's great, but what if the mountains are brown and have cacti all over them?
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, buckle up, buddy. It's going down.
Cheers, mate.
Oh, God! Oh,
It's so warm!
Oh, God, that was terrible.
Oh,
Skunked. Did you just throw up in your water?
yeah! Oh, it's so
Well,
gross.
now we have nothing but warm beer and no water. So, thanks, Coors Light. God damn it. For ruining another day.
It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The heat index is 125, and I think Geller's dying. We're dead. Oh God! There's a cat eating him. He isn't in Arby's. Get away! Get away, you feral beast! Get away! Just leave him alone. What we really need is air conditioning.
Man, it's hot in here. Don't you guys have any air conditioning?
Geller, there's a strange man in our house.
Did he say air conditioning?
Who are you, and how did you get in here?
I'm Jerry Aldini, and how I got into your house is not important. What is important is the fact that I can offer you something very, very special. Air conditioning.
Oh man, that air conditioning feels so good. Just Jerry Aldini, give me your sweet, sweet air. All day. All day.
Air conditioning's pretty good, right? No, damn it, it's freaking great, alright? Air conditioning is amazing. It is an amazing commodity that both of you don't even appreciate. Do you know how hot it is here? It's not that hot, okay? In the Middle East, it's hot as hell. And I'm going to tell you guys right now a little something about indoor air conditioning in the Middle East. But first, a brief history of air conditioning. Air conditioning was invented by Willis Carrier in 1902. Carrier had invented an apparatus for treating air for the Sackett Wilhelms Lithographing and Publishing Company in Brooklyn, New York. The machine blew air over cold coils to control room temperature and humidity, keeping paper from wrinkling and the ink aligned. In 1914, air conditioning came home for the very first time. The unit in the Minneapolis mansion of Charles Gates was approximately 7 feet high, 6 feet wide, and 20 feet long. In other words, it was huge, and probably never even used because no one ever lived in the house. In 1931, H. Schultz and J.Q. Sherman invented an individual room air conditioner that sat on a window ledge, a design that's been ubiquitous in apartment buildings ever since. These window units remain the standard even to this day because of their simple design, which essentially takes air from outside and blows it over chilled coils to cool the room. It's essentially what Carrier had done for the publishing company, but now applied to individual homes. At this point, air conditioning was well on its way to becoming a value commodity. In 1939, Packard invents the coolest ride in town, the first air-conditioned car. Unfortunately, dashboard controls for the air conditioner came much later. So, should the Packard's passengers get chilly, the driver must stop the engine, pop open the hood, and disconnect a compressor belt. Finally, in the 1950s, the post-World War II economic boom resulted in air conditioning becoming just another way to keep up with the Joneses. More than 1 million units were sold in 1953 alone. Now, the 1970s might prove to be the most important decade in the history of air conditioning. You guys know why? Nope, of course you don't. But let me tell you, basically what happened was central air conditioning was invented. Now, central air conditioning gives people the ability to temperature control their entire house. It's pretty amazing, right? To be perfectly honest, air conditioning as a whole, pretty freaking amazing. Eh? How you guys enjoying it?
Cool.
Yeah, well, it beats being hot, right? Now, in any case, speaking of hot, you know what else is really hot? The Middle East. Now let me give you a few sample temperatures of Middle Eastern climates. The Middle East is a vast geographical region that expands from the African continent into Asia. A large majority of the region is dominated by a hot and dry desert landscape, which has average daily temperatures that will blow your mind. From April to November, the hottest months for the region, temperatures in the Nile Valley in Egypt and the Arabian Peninsula regularly reach 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Now that's hot!
In comparison to our own country, one of the hottest regions in the United States is the southwestern desert region where, for example, in Yuma, Arizona, the average daily temperature is only 91 degrees. Comparatively, the eastern Arabian Peninsula has an average daily temperature of 98 degrees. That may not seem like a lot, but when you're braving out the heat without any AC, you'll definitely be feeling it. Even worse for the Middle East is the fact that daily highs recorded year in and year out are consistently above 110 degrees. Clearly, with temperatures like these, air conditioning is highly valued in the Middle East. Before the commodity became a viable economical option for the region, people would commonly sleep on flat rooftops or in underground rooms known as serdabs, in order to escape the brutal heat. However, as air conditioning has become more attainable in the region, the need for these more traditional methods of cooling has gradually decreased.
This is cold. Easy, man. We're not hot. Nope. Definitely rather die from hypothermia than heat exhaustion.
So, air conditioning's still doing the job, right?
It's very potent.
It's great. Now, like I was saying before, in terms of climate in the Middle East, you clearly see the need for it as a commodity, right? Of course you guys see that. You're smart people. You realize what's going on. Now, let me tell you, though, air conditioning as a commodity in the Middle East is unique because of the disparity in the socioeconomic climate of that region.
Many parts of the Middle East, most notably the Gulf region where energy sources are abundant, have made air conditioning a relatively cost-effective method of cooling. In fact, it has gotten to the point where air conditioners have become commonplace in almost all middle and upper middle class households. Furthermore, the refurbishing of wind towers has presented another method of air conditioning for the region that, while not nearly as cost-effective, has provided the Middle East with another energy-efficient model. Many experts have acknowledged the fact that the commodity is nearly universal in households in the Gulf Emirates and Saudi Arabia. However, because of drastic economic disparity between rich and poor, the existence of air conditioning in the poorest parts of the Middle East is practically non-existent. If you consider the pricing of just air conditioners alone, without factoring in electricity costs, the amounts clearly demonstrate the commodity's existence as a comfort for the middle classes and above. Standard home air conditioning units range in price from low-end models costing around $450 to the highest-end models costing upwards of $1,300. By no means cheap. All that being said, however, the air conditioning industry in the Middle East continues to rise and specifically targets its more modern, middle-class demographics. The industry has become westernized like many other modern commodities in the region and, as a result, has created its own unique market despite being too costly for a large percentage of the population of the Middle East.
And so, that's how air conditioning presently exists as a commodity in the Middle East. But you know what, guys? The story doesn't just end there. The future for air conditioning is also incredibly interesting due to two things. One, solar-powered energy is going to revolutionize air conditioning, and two, geothermal air conditioning is probably just as economically and environmentally viable as solar-powered air conditioning. So let me tell you both a little bit more about that.
Before going into the details of the new methods of air conditioning, it is worth briefly mentioning the staggering amounts of money that have been poured into the air conditioning industry in the Middle East. Interestingly enough, hundreds of millions of dollars have been pouring in from all over the world. Between 1996 and 2008, European, notably British firms invested nearly $400 million in the Middle East, with nearly 3/4 of it going towards investments in commodities such as petroleum, electronics, cinema, computers, and of course, air conditioning. Like I said before, where the future is most bright for air conditioning, though, is in the two new types of environmentally friendly methods that are being produced. The first of these is solar-powered air conditioning, which, like most solar-powered technology, relies on the energy from the sun to power the air conditioning units. Now, in a region like the Middle East, where the sun is present throughout the year, the majority of the cost for this method to become applicable would be in the initial setup of solar panels and equipment. After that, the costs are significantly lower than current air conditioning units, and, most importantly, the environmental toll that air conditioning causes is significantly reduced. The second method I mentioned is geothermal air conditioning. Slightly more complicated than its solar-powered counterpart, geothermal AC relies on the consistent temperatures of the Earth's soil, which ranges between 50 and 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Because of this consistency, during the hottest times of the year, geothermal air conditioners can pump hot air into the ground and have cooler air pumped back into the house and then chilled in a similar fashion to regular air conditioners. All in all, the technology is incredible and just as cost and energy efficient as solar-powered energy. In the end, the Earth benefits greatly, and so does everyone struggling to beat the heat.
And so, that's air conditioning in the Middle East for you guys. You learn anything today?
Yeah, air conditioning works.
And so, go out there and buy an air conditioner today. Jerry Aldini, out.